So I know if you probably clicked on this video, you're probably like a bigger person struggling to lose your body fat and just struggling to lose weight in general. Or you just need that wake up call that, is really important for you to lose your belly fat. So in this video, guys, I want to just basically break down and go over how I was personally able to overall lose belly fat and lose some body fat overall in my body. Because guys, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to get to this point. I was always a bigger, fatter person growing up, and overall, my overall fitness journey was always up and down. But I think I'm pretty confident now that I've nailed the overall process of actually successfully losing body fat and losing my belly gut. So I want to just go over with you guys how I was able to do it and share that information with you, because I want to just let you guys know that it's not as complicated as many people make it out to be. It's not complicated, and it's not easy. So what I mean by it's not easy is that it's pretty straightforward what needs to be done. It's just that the consistency and doing it over and over, time and time again, is usually what prevents people from seeing the results. But guys, it's really straightforward on how to lose body fat and losing your belly fat. So I want to go over in this video how I was personally able to do it. I want to just share with you my personal experience. I know there's probably thousands and thousands of different ways that people get to lose body fat, but I'm pretty sure the way I'm about to talk about it is probably like the overall consensus if you do your own research. But I want to just go over what works for me on how to lose belly fat and just explain that to you guys. So yeah, let's get right into it. I made a couple PowerPoint slides. So as you guys can see, this is my transformation video. In this video, I was over 300 pounds, guys. So I know a lot of people started, I'm like 6'2", 6'3", so this was me back in 2 years ago. I was 300 pounds. You see me smiling. I don't know what I was smiling for, but overall, I was not happy with myself. And this was like a wake-up call for me that I needed to lose the body fat. Like I said, I do not know why I'm smiling. I was super unconfident back then. I hated the way I looked. I just didn't like how I looked. I didn't know what to do. So I was struggling, just trying to figure out how to actually successfully lose body fat. So I want to share with you how I was able to make this transformation. And this is currently how I look as of today, which is August 1st. So I want to just share with you guys how I was able to lose body fat and overall, drop my belly fat, and just overall give you guys the tips and tricks that you guys, not really tricks, but give you guys the literal, straight, no BS guide that you're going to need to use to help you as well. So for me, guys, obviously, it's really important to portion your control, like to have good food portion control. So if you're not big on, at some point you're gonna have to be able to track your food. But let's say you're very, very new in this process and you don't want to track your food. It's really, really important, guys, to have portion control. So if you're eating a lot of foods and you're like not conscious of what you're eating and you're just eating a whole bunch of food on your plate, that's not gonna set you up for success. So it's really important, guys, to have portion control. So just simply having an idea of what you're eating on a day-to-day basis can set you apart from any regular person who's just eating a whole bunch of BS throughout the day. So simply cutting out excess sugars and fats, and not fats, but cutting out excess sugar and processed foods as well definitely helped me out. So guys, believe it or not, if you're like really, really heavy and really, really big, simply cutting out junk food that you know is not really healthy for you, just cutting out the super processed foods, all the cookies, for me it was Subway cookies. I love Subway cookies to this day. I haven't had it in a couple months, but eating cookies, going out to eating McDonald's every other day, simply cutting out super excess processed foods and sugars. That alone, if there was like one thing you could change but keep the rest the same, simply taking out sugars and replacing it with healthier foods, that in and of itself will get you a lot of results without even going to the gym. So just overall, for me, what I realized was that having portion control, and that could mean simply like I said, just having an idea of what you're eating on your plate. And if you don't want to weigh your food, just having 1 or 2 scoops of rice. For me, I'm a big rice person, so when I was first starting my journey, I didn't weigh my foods a lot. So the way I would do it was just have simple, logical portion control, and I would never exceed more than 2 scoops of rice, because that to me was my portion control. I made sure to cut out sugars and processed foods. For some reason, I just loved canned ravioli, all these Chef Boyardee frozen pizzas. None of that shit was good for me, so I realized that pretty early on. So I made sure to cut that out completely, and I made sure I prepped and cooked 80% of my foods. And why I say 80 was because like sometimes I was too lazy to cook my own food from scratch, like cooking raw chicken, so I would buy pre-cooked grilled chicken. So that works as well. But just overall, I made sure I was in control of what I was putting in my body on a day-to-day basis. So for me, I made sure I meal prepped my foods. I weighed them out. I weighed out pretty later on in my journey, but starting out, I was just making sure I was eating a lot of whole foods, cutting out processed foods, junk foods completely. Pop-Tarts, I made sure I cut that out completely, because guys, if you guys just, what I've also come to realize, guys, is if you guys just took a second to like look at the nutrition labels of all the junk food and snacks and sugary food that you're gonna eat, that in and of itself can just make your mind shift to realize that this shit is not something you should be eating on a day-to-day basis. So to my next point, just overall being aware and conscious of what you're eating will definitely help you set yourself up, especially someone starting out on the fitness journey and overall the weight loss journey. So just simply having an idea and just understanding what you're eating, what you're eating on a day-to-day basis can definitely set you up for success, because I know a lot of people subconsciously eat some bullshit and they don't even know what they're eating. They don't even like know exactly all the calories they're consuming on a day-to-day basis, which was me very early on when I was super big and fat. I would literally just eat anything in sight. Even when I was full, I would still eat. So I was gluttonous overall. So for me, guys, what I've noticed for me was that just having an idea and just simply being aware of what I was putting in my body. So that could simply mean before you eat a chocolate bar, just simply looking at the macros and being like, damn, this is, let's say it's 500 calories. I just ate a whole bunch of food before this. So just guys, just being conscious of what you're putting in your body is literally like the number one key thing you have to do when you really want to overall understand your fitness progress and just want to get in serious and want to be serious about your nutrition. You need to understand what you're putting in your body on a day-to-day basis. And it simply starts with being conscious, and then after you're conscious, you can then start, prepping and cooking real foods that'll help you get to your goals faster. And the last thing I did, guys, was make smarter and healthier food option choices. So for me, what works for me, guys, is that I made sure not to just cut out completely things that I kind of enjoyed, but I knew wasn't good for me. I just make smarter, healthy alternative options. For example, I personally love apple juice, orange juice, Snapples, lemonade. I love juices. So what I did now was I switched it with zero sugar, super low calorie drinks instead. So for me, they kind of taste the same. They get the job done for me. Ultimately, I just want to get something that thirsts my quench without drinking water every day, because I know a lot of people say drink water, drink water, drink water. For me, I could do that, but at some point I would want something sugary. So guys, you don't have to just completely you do have to completely cut out certain foods, but when I mean cut out, you can always make an alternative option, which is pretty much relatively the same, but just a healthier version with less to no sugar. And trust me, guys, it gets the job done. If you're really just looking for something sweet to drink, just trying out zero sugar alternative versions of the same things can save you a bunch of calories and overall help you in your journey. So it's really important, guys, to just make smarter, healthier food choices, which is what I did. The next thing I did which is what helped me get to the next level of actually seeing, the first step of just simply being conscious, like, the nutrition part will get you to a good point as far as the weight loss. But now if you want to see some real results, guys, that's when you're gonna have to start tracking your stuff. So you're gonna have to track your weight. So that's the one thing I did, guys, was I was tracking my weight, weekly. So I wouldn't do it every day because obviously your weight will fluctuate day to day. Especially when you're on the bigger side, which is what I was starting off really big. I track my weight every Saturday or Sunday morning, and I make sure to just see how the progression was going, because that would give me an indication as to what I was doing throughout the week, if I was really eating what I was supposed to eat or not. So it's important, guys, to know how to track your foods, to track your weight, and then on top of that, you obviously gonna need to learn how to track your foods. That's I would say after like a few months. For me, I don't like to advise people who are like super brand new to fitness. Honestly, if you're somebody who's super committed and wants to make the change immediately, yes, tracking your foods will be the best way. But I know a lot of people are kind of scared or turned off by the idea of just tracking their foods, or they're just lazy. So it takes them time to get to that point, but you're gonna have to get to that point eventually. So once you get to that point, tracking your food is gonna help you really see those extra results that you're looking for. So overall, tracking my food, tracking my weight, tracking my foods and what I was eating, and overall tracking my workouts, that's gonna be set you up for success, because that's what helped me a lot. And when I mean tracking my workouts, I mean like, tracking the weight. As far as like, even if I was lifting the same weights 2-3 weeks in a row, still tracking that was really important, because that gave me structure. Because guys, you're gonna need structure, especially when you're trying to lose weight, because there's gonna be times when, like, you're gonna want to deviate and do something else, but you need a structured plan to really stick through the times when you're gonna be thinking of things to do. So guys, it's really important to track everything. And when I mean track your workouts, like I said, you don't have to be like, increasing the weight every single week. I mean, obviously that'll be good if you're trying to build muscle, which is what I was going for. I didn't want to just look super lean and like malnourished. I wanted to have some muscle size and muscle definition. So, which I assume most of you would want to get to that point too. Not just want to lose weight, you want to actually have some nice, slim, aesthetic muscles. So it's important to track your workouts just to see your progression, even while you're losing weight and cutting. And overall, guys, this is really key for me, at least, because this is actually the milestone, and what took me the longest to come to realize, guys, is that it's important to lift weights. Like I mentioned, most of the people that I've come across and what I personally was looking for, I wanted to have a nice, slim, muscular physique. I didn't want to look like a super malnourished person who just looks skinny and ended up looking skinny fat. I didn't want to look like that. I wanted to actually slim down but have some muscle definition. And the only way, guys, to get to that point is to prioritize lifting weights when you're in the gym. Cardio is important. I'm not gonna lie, cardio is important, but it's not as important as lifting weights. If you dial in on your nutrition, guys, cardio will only be like an extra cherry on top that you could add to see progression even faster, which is what I'm doing now. So for the majority of my weight loss journey, I was simply prioritizing lifting heavy, or not even lifting heavy, just lifting with good form, going to the gym at least 4 to 5 days a week. And guys, I would not exceed over 1 hour and 30 minutes in the gym. And that's even too much. If there's nobody in the gym, let's say if you go like in the morning, usually there's not that many people in the gym, you should be able to hit all your workouts within an hour. So no more than 5 to 6 different workouts. If you want to add a superset here or there, that's probably 7 max. But guys, when you go to the gym, you do not want to exceed over an hour and 30 minutes. And that 90 minutes is on the higher end. So making sure you're going to the gym at least 4 to 5 days a week, which is what I did. And that's going to help you, like I said, build some muscle in the process and overall help you build that aesthetic physique that you should be looking to aim for. And you just want to overall try to gain some strength while you're in the gym. So it's important, guys, to lift weights and, do cardio. If you wanted to do cardio, guys, I'd only recommend it to do maybe 5 to 10 minutes before you start your workout, and maybe an extra 10 minutes after. Or you can do the full 20 minutes after, but no more than 20 minutes of cardio is even necessary throughout the within the lifting session, guys. But so it's really important, guys, to make sure you prioritize lifting weights when you're in the gym. If you're trying to like recomp your body, which is what I'm assuming most of you are trying to do, which is what I did in my transformation, which is recomp, which is trying to build muscle while losing fat. And guys, we're all human. At the end of the day, I know a lot of people are gonna be, trying to be. I would say they're gonna be like, there's gonna be days where you're gonna be tempted to eat, junk food, which is human. I personally had a lot of cheat days, and just overall understanding that it's okay to have a cheat day and not feel too bad about it. Just try to make sure it doesn't exceed that day. So let's say you had a cheat day. Honestly, if you had a cheat meal and it turned into a whole cheat day where you basically eat a whole bunch of BS throughout the day, that's fine, guys. Just make sure that the very next day you get right back on track to your overall protein goals, your overall intake, as far as making sure you're eating the right foods. So it's okay to just cheat once. I would say starting out once a week is kind of crazy, but it's gonna take you time. So, but just making sure. Let's just say in general, if you have a cheat day, guys, which is gonna happen at some point, which is totally fine. Just make sure that the very next day you just get right back on track, and don't make that one day turn into 2 days. And then let's say your cheat day is on you have a cheat day on Friday. You tell yourself, you know what? It's Friday. Let's just do Saturday and Sunday. I get back on track on Monday. No, that is not what you want to do. The next day, Saturday, you want to get right back on track. And when you're getting right back on track, guys, that doesn't mean you just do a whole bunch of cardio to overcompensate for that cheat day you had, because that'll just mess up your mind to think that I could just eat a whole bunch of BS and then I'll run these calories off and do a whole bunch of cardio to negate that. You don't want to have that mindset. You just want to have the mindset, yesterday is gone, today's a new day, let's conquer this day. So it's important, guys, to never overcompensate for having a cheat day, and just go have the next day be your next day. That's all I gotta say on that. And lastly, guys, you guys are gonna hear me say this over and over again. Consistency is literally the key to seeing some serious progress results. Because guys, like I said, the overall process of recomping your body, of losing body fat while maintaining some muscle, even gaining some muscle, is pretty straightforward and consistent. You're gonna see this throughout a whole bunch of YouTubers, a whole bunch of people mention this. The overall process you'll find is pretty simple and straightforward. It's just that a lot of people don't have the proper structure and they don't know how to trust the process. And overall, that comes out to being consistent and having a good structured plan. If you guys were to have a good structured plan like I did, and like I currently do, that'll set you up for success. Even on days when you don't feel like doing it, and days you feel like you don't see any progress, that's when you're gonna have to really lock in and really understand the process and the overall structure you set for yourself. So it's really important to have a good game plan as far as your nutrition, your diet, and your workouts. And trust me, that'll set you up for success as far as being consistent. So yeah, those are my key tips and tricks that I was able to use and currently use to, you know, see my body fat transformation and lose my belly fat. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video.